Well, it's hard to nitpick after a 43-point win, but there's areas where you need to get better. And the one thing that I thought our team did was they responded after every timeout. Like every media just knew that there were things that we needed to clean up, and at halftime there were things we needed to clean up. So I mean, we had 8 turnovers there in the first half. We only finished with 10, and to only have 2 there in the second half, I think it was 16-16 paint points, and we needed to be way more dominant inside the paint. And the game finishes 42-24, and so I thought they responded every time. We knew a team. Prairie View A&M has been top 50 in the country at causing turnovers for the last 10 years. They've been top 10 in the country 6 of the last 10. And so we knew that a team that pressures that much would foul a lot, and I was a little worried about what would our conversion rate be. So that convert free throws at a 76% rate is a positive. I look up in the opening 90 seconds and it feels like 5 minutes has gone by, and we're at the free throw line for the sixth time, and I knew that having that kind of start, going 5 for 6 and being able to convert those opportunities, was hoping that momentum would carry. So just, again, proud. I thought KG carried us in the first half, and then really happy for TJ Williams, to have 5 assists, 1 turnover, lead us in steals, 10 for 10 from the free throw line, have a double double. Like, there's a lot of pluses there. And, Will's dad flew in from Stockholm in order to be here for tonight's game. So I'm glad he had a career high.
You guys score 100 points out of six guys in double digits. You're not going to do that every single game, but how much does that success, travel into the future games?
How do you know we're not going to do it
I mean,
every
it'd be
single
cool if
game?
you did.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's free throw opportunities. I don't know that we're not going to get 41 free throw opportunities. I mean, you can go look at Prairie View A&M. There's a trade-off between their pressure and just how much they foul. So I was proud that we could convert them at that rate. I don't think that 76%'s the greatest. Now you're talking to somebody who's coached the third best free throw shooting team in the history of college basketball way back in 2021, and so they had an average there of almost 82%. But this is a real focus for us. We understand that the game is 20% of the game is going to be at the free throw line, and to be able to convert at that rate's a good thing.
Coach, you talked about their pressure that they presented. How well do you think the guys responded today?
Yeah, we didn't handle it well initially, and I thought there was, for me, we get in what is referenced as a domino formation. Okay, that's there's, and I literally put dominoes on the screen. This is what 5 dominoes, the number 5. You see how it's 2-1-2, all right? And I don't know how they get it confused, and when you're yelling domino, but somehow we manage to botch it, and it's 2 guys up, and then there's 3 guys back, or there's 2 guys in the back, and then there's 2 more guys at half court, and we don't have a domino formation. But I thought after a little while that they began to understand what it needed to look like. We had to use our bigs as our outlets a number of times, and it's basically what they want you to do so they can trap right across half court. So we didn't have any of that in the second half, and their pressure kind of was dialed back there in the second half. But I thought we made strides, but initially it wasn't great.
TJ mentioned like the scouting report. Obviously, they're going to be super aggressive. They're not going to help. Do you think that kind of put him in like an aggressive frame of mind? Do you think that actually helped him get going tonight?
Yeah, I thought that opening drive where he turns around and drives left and ends up getting fouled, but I thought that, like, we knew that they were going to be fanned out, and they kind of want you to play one on one. They don't want to give up a lot of assisted buckets, and kind of knew that to be the case, and it allows him to go downhill. And they were going under a number of ball screens, and we told the team we've got to set these lower. But I think the thing that happened, especially with E-Man, if you look at the second half, when you look at the first half, when we did a good job of just twisting it and then changing the angle of the screen and allowing TJ to go downhill. So yeah, that definitely helped that they stay fanned. And when you have players like Michael Gray and Brian and KG on the court, you kind of got to stay fanned out a little in order for, Dre was able to get downhill. Dylan had some nice moments, and then I thought TJ was really good.
How valuable is it to have someone that can, guard a four like TJ, and then like he pulls down a rebound, starts the fast break, and get a dunk, easy dunk for Karan. Like, did you kind of see that versatility tonight, Flash?
Yeah, and it needs to be everybody. And we don't really structure it in a way. We structure the formation, we don't structure the people. And so I thought there was a little tentativeness, for, especially in the second half. It's like, what are we doing? And I think they were anticipating pressure instead of looking ahead. But I thought after a little while we kind of solved that issue. But we honestly do not care who brings the ball up. Our one big rule is you can't go across half court and pick it up. If you're going to do that, you need to get rid of it because, what most coaches call the idiot box. You're just going to see morons go get it across and then just stop there. And I appreciate that about TJ is that he'll continue to play downhill and you'll see him occasionally go into push downs. Same thing with DB, but you have to be comfortable there, and a game like this helps.
Can you talk about how big it was for TJ to have this kind of night in his second ever game?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 10 for 10 from the free throw lines. I don't care if you've been playing 100 years or you've only been playing 2 games. That's really impressive, especially with the crowd and the environment to be able to convert at that rate. We play a number of kind of in practice with a number of free throw games and that try to put pressure on players in order to perform. And really happy for him, 10 for 10 from the free throw line. And then if you go look at his practice numbers, he's a 2-to-1 assist to turnover guy. And, our guys know the play and they know what's happening. But 5 assists, 1 turnover for him. And then, again, to lead us in steals. And a double-double is pretty impressive for a guy in his second basketball game at this level.
And then I guess how much better do you think he can get throughout the season?
He's got a long ways to go. So he's got to get better at taking away other people's angles. We went through this quite a bit after the Drake game. He would have opportunities and he wouldn't get in the line of the defender and he would stay wide, and so people were able to make plays on the basketball. So he's got a long ways to go. He's got to get better. If you saw him there on the left side, he goes into that push down, going middle, and then he turns around and switches and turns back to that right shoulder. You need to go be comfortable going middle if that's what they're going to give because they're taking it away. And then I am happy that he made the right hand layup over there on the right side because he turns around and switches hands and didn't just go with his left hand. So he's got some versatility, being able to play in both directions that can improve, and then his ball handling and perimeter shooting can improve. So he's got a really high ceiling.
First week with a completely new team, basically. Is this what you kind of suspected it was going to look like? Are you pleased through 2 games? Is this what you kind of envisioned that it would look like as you're going through all the summer stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we're up 17 at halftime, and it feels like you're down 10. I just didn't think we were just sharp, and we're not there. We've got a long ways to go, but we've got film now to work through. There's a lot of challenges with the way people play stylistically, but I think trying to incorporate more of a mentality of what's going to happen, I think that really helps. So because of the film of these 2 games and playing really good players. Corey Wells is a good player. Toya Solomon's a good player. And we needed to clean up discipline, but I do think it helps, but I don't know that you're ever pleased.
What do you think about how Will is doing on those set plays you guys are trying to run through him? How's he doing getting big and establishing position? How's that been going so far, you think?
Yeah, it's a B plus. I mean, if you know anything about Purdue, I mean, they've got a ton of them. And we don't run that many, but there has been a focus of, you saw with the opening play of the game, there has been a focus to try to get an interior touch because he's good enough and he converts free throws at a really high rate. But I mean, this is, I think at Purdue, you're probably at a PhD level in being able to run sets. We're still high school level probably compared to those Purdue guys. We've got guys that we want to be more in a flow and be way more organic than those guys. But this him getting sets and understanding the concepts behind them, it's not difficult. But I give him a B plus.
It seems like a lot of those guys from back in Purdue really rooting hard for him, like you said before. Like try to find one bad word and can't find anybody to say anything about him. Just to see him have a game like tonight, he's been waiting his turn for a long time. Does that just kind of make you feel good to see him have that success?
Yeah, and especially to do it in front of his dad, to fly all the way over from Sweden and to be here. And, those of you, Taylor, you're a parent. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of pride that's associated with just watching you're for your kids, whether they play well or not. So for him to have a career high, I thought, yeah, he has great composure, terrific composure, and just how he handles things. His responses are very measured, and to be honest with you, that's unlike a lot of teenagers. He's early 20s, but they're really emotional. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I tell them that your prefrontal cortex doesn't stop developing until 25. That's why you're so impulsive and don't know how to handle this situation. And you're kind of aware of it, but he's well beyond his years, and he handles his composure is really, really good. And he's one of those guys that you just don't expect to get rattled. Pressure, everybody's going to face it. You're going to have it. And to be honest with you, it really determines what kind of player you're going to end up being. Like, just how much does the pressure bother you? And he's got the right demeanor and the right mindset that I think he's really going to flourish. He needs to get his land legs. He hadn't played in 3 years. And I think that's, you're starting to see him get land legs.
You guys only made 10 threes twice last year. Tonight, from everything what I've heard, this looks more like what you guys have seen through the off season, through summer. You feel like this is going to look more like the new normal going forward?
Well, you got to kind of pick your poison, right? Like, I mean, do you want us to try to get it in on the interior and have those guys do pretty well? Because we can play through those guys around the block. We saw that with the late shot clock situation with E-Man. So it's not just Will, it's E-Man. And then at the same time, do you want to push up on us or sag in order to take that away? We've got some perimeter, and we've got some guys who can actually go into push downs and kind of play ISO basketball there. So I think that our staff did a phenomenal job in just thinking through all of the things that you have to incorporate in order to win in this conference. And I feel like we've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle that are necessary in order to have a good attack offensively.
Coach, even back since you were recruiting TJ, how has it been seeing him kind of develop into the player that he is today?
Yeah, again, I think for coaches, 20% of the things they have to go through have to be hard. All right, I don't want to get too wonky on you, but there's been a million studies on how people learn. And if it's too easy, you learn interest, and if it's too hard, you get frustrated and you want to quit. So I would tell you, forget 20%. I'd tell you 75% of the things last year for TJ was hard, and you just didn't know with a young mind how much he would actually absorb and then fight it, because they come from a situation to where he was the best player in the state. I mean, he was Kansas Player of the Year, and what I'm proud of is that he kind of embraces that. That's kind of what determines whether or not you're going to be a good player. If you fight that stuff, you're not going to make it. But the fact that he embraced it and he could weather that storm, because it's hard for young kids. I think that's where I'm really, really happy for him, because you saw him make strides every single day. Thanks, guys.